Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Ethan.
And I'm Rick.
And this is GenCon pregame show part 3. And today we're going to be talking about some more games that are going to be at GenCon, specifically games for sale that will be there. And we're just going to talk about a couple of games that have caught our interest, and we would also like to inform you about the game as well.
Yeah, we just want to talk about, I think we're talking about 5 games maybe here. These are games, like you said, games according to Board Game Geek's GenCon preview. Best way to sort that sucker is, you sort it by hotness, and then for us, we want to sort it by sold, or filter for games that are going to be sold, not just demo. We'll do later in the week, leading up, we're going to talk about some demos that we want to do as well, but we're going to be talking about games we want to buy. So you want to kick us off with the first one?
Yeah, of course. One game that me and you have really been interested in, and as well as a lot of other people, the hype for 3 Ring Circus is through the roof. Everybody wants to play 3 Ring Circus. And, well, first off, what is it? Dad, can you explain us what is 3 Ring Circus?
Well, in essence, what it is you're basically running a circus, kind of back in the old days, in the classic days of when the circus was awesome, back in like the earliest, of the 20th century, end of the 19th century, like the 1890s, back when circuses traveled around, they rode a train, they'd pop up in a town and they would do a show. And that's what's cool about this game is you're basically building up your circus. So you're getting circus performers. It's a Euro game. You're building up circus performers, but you're also traveling around the country and deciding where you're going to do your shows. And different shows, different cities can let you do different types of shows and size of shows. You get better payouts. So it's kind of just, to me, look just cool. The theme really is fantastic.
It really does. And isn't it true that you can also pick who you want to be in your play as well?
Yeah, that's right? What I mean. Yeah, like you're building up your circus. So you're going to have like a bearded lady. Or you're going to have a strong man. Or you're going to have somebody shot out of a cannon. These old classic
animals, all kinds of
animals,
stuff.
Lion tamers, that kind of stuff. It's even got like a little meeple train that you use to move around. It's just, it looks so cool.
And it looks very colorful, doesn't it? Like this game looks like it pops.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was looking up, the artist was Edu Valls. And I'm not sure. I'm looking to see what else other games maybe he's done that I would know. Redwood, he did Redwood. And Redwood, I think, is going to be at Gen Con 2. That game has some of the most beautiful art looking on it.
Redwood, yes.
Yes, it's basically Redwood, and I don't want to diverge from the story here. Redwood is basically you're a forest photographer. And you're taking pictures in the woods of different, animals and things, and it's gorgeous. But he also did Bitoku, which has some pretty cool art, too. But he might, be an up-and-comer, because the 3 Ring Circus art looks pretty fantastic.
It really does. It looks super fun. It says here that it's a 1 to 4 player game. Takes you about 45 to 75 minutes. And remember the weight. They rate it out of a 5. This game is a 2.8.
Yeah, and we don't know how good those weights are yet. I mean, frankly, not a lot of people have played it.
Yeah, it's true.
But they, are supposed to have copies at Gen Con, so... we'll get into the very end what our top thing is going to be, but this is probably the top board game I'd like to get in on.
Oh, definitely. I mean, this game just looks so fun. I truly can't wait to play it. It really does look just brilliant. And it's cool how it says also it's like in the times of P.T. Barnum. So it's kind of like, Barnum, excuse me, like from the Greatest Showman. So that's kind of what you're doing.
Yeah, that's what this is. I mean, it's kind of back in that heyday of the circus.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one great game. It says here estimated it's might be $40, the game, which seems pretty accurate. But I'm definitely going to try this out. Hopefully they also have a demo there as well, so you can try it out. And, of course, after we get it or demo it, we will be recording, giving you our first thoughts about the game before you purchase it. Maybe you won't like it, or maybe you do, or, something like that. We'll give you some more information.
Yeah, and to be clear on that is 3 Ring Circus by Devir Games, Devir, in case you're looking for it. Designers are Remo excuse us, Consadori and Fabio Lopiano.
Mm-hmm. And, man, we are very anxious to try your games, and I'm sure you guys are as well. Well,
So
let's go to our next game.
Yeah, the next game I want to talk about was Last Light.
Oh, yes.
This is by Gray Fox Games. The designer is Roy Cannaday, so if you ever watch Dice Tower, Roy is one of their reviewers, does a pretty good job on there. He actually designed a game called Last Light.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what's going on is it's a 4X game. So if you're not familiar with that, it's kind of basically a big, the 4X exploit, expand, exterminate, and I always forget the other one. But basically it's a giant game. You're territory control, you're moving around a map, you're doing things. But in this game it's kind of a lighter one. It's quicker. And you're basically a bunch of, it's asymmetrical. So each alien faction has kind of its own little power that goes with it. And basically you're taking actions around a board, simultaneous action selection, and you're trying to mine and collect the light, the last light from a star in the center of the board. From what I understand a little bit is there's a mechanism where the board kind of shifts around. Mm-hmm. So you might be trying to turtle up or hide, but the board might shift, and all of a sudden you've got folks right in front of you.
Yeah.
The center of the board will rotate around. And it's kind of cool looking how it does.
It really
is.
And
even I think like the planets and stuff that they made it's like glow in the dark, so you can kind of play it at night, kind of build on that theme. But this looked really cool to me. Just looked like a simple 4X game. Had a little cool, it's quick though. So I thought it kind of looked pretty interesting to me. And they're supposed to have, it's coming out soon in third quarter, but I think they're going to have some copies at GenCon.
Yeah, and what's a cool detail about it too is, did you mention the glow in the dark?
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of neat, as long as you can play it.
Yeah.
Because if the whole board's dark and you can't see anything, I don't know what the glow in the dark pieces are going to do for you, but the production looks pretty cool on it, the way the planets are and
it really does.
How you're playing.
And I do like the different factions, the different, I assume, ways of playing, right? Because it's asymmetric. So, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of cool little details here and there about the game. And it's also really neat. I did not know it was made by Roy Cannaday. Which is going to be
cool.
Very interesting. This game is 2 to 4 players. And you would think a 4X game would take about 2 to 3 hours, because they usually do. This one is not even 2 hours. This one's 45 to 75 minutes.
Yeah, so hopefully we can score a copy and play it at GenCon. So we can get back on the cast here and
absolutely.
talk about what we thought of it.
Absolutely.
Right away.
Absolutely. I truly can't wait. Again, the weight of the game is not accurate, but...
Yeah, it's tough right now.
It is.
I mean, it's tough to go off any of that, because some people have played it. Roy's demoed it. Some people have played it, but it's tough to really go off of that for now.
It's tough, yes.
But then again, that's Last Light, designed by Roy Cannaday, produced by Gray Fox Games.
Can't wait. Truly can't wait. The next game is a game that I've really wanted for a while, but you can't find it nowhere because everybody's getting it. It's called Sea Salt and Paper. Now, this game, basically, what you're going to try to do is you are going to assemble your hand by placing cards for their effects and decide if you want to end
the round. And then you can stop immediately or give an extra turn. Depending. It's kind of the game ends different ways. Do you want to end it with points in hand, or do you think the points you can do kind of overcome the other ones? I don't know a ton about this game. It looks cool. I mean, again, it's by Pandasaurus as the publisher. Is one of the publishers, I believe, of this. The reason we haven't seen it too much is it's just now coming out in the U.S.
Yeah.
But you're playing cards. It's a little card deck game. I mean,
it really is.
The whole
it's very
box
small.
would fit in your pocket. And it's just a bunch of cards, and the way you play them, and depending on how it goes, it's for like 8 and up, so it's kind of a younger family game style game. It's by Bruno Cathala, is one of the designers here.
Yeah.
Of course, Bruno Cathala has done, Splendor, Seven Wonders Duel, Splendor Duel, Cyclades. I mean, he's famous. So,
yeah,
anything about games, Bruno Cathala.
Yeah, and I've read a bit about the game and stuff, and it just seemed very attracting and very appealing. I really also do like the art. It's origami. Basically, it's origami.
It's kind of cool,
and it's really cool looking. I've read a bit about it, and I just thought, you know what, this game seems really fun. I would like to try it out. And this game is I mean, it's short. There's like the time 30 to 45 minutes.
That's what the box says.
That's what the box says. Now, usually these kind of games, if you really understand it well and you've played it for quite a bit, it'll be less than 30 minutes. Yep. Absolutely. The game is 2 to 4 players. Now, since this game has come out in another region of the world, they have given the weight, the official weight is 1.36, which is very light for a game.
Yeah, that's, how many people ranked it?
2.2.
Okay.
Okay.
So, well, I mean, yeah. So 61 people have given it but 61 of those people have actually given it a weight. So it's light. It's a light game. You can tell. It comes in a card box, but it looks pretty fun.
It does. And it's also for ages 8 and up. So that also explains a little bit more about the simplicity of the game. But that is one game that I've really wanted to get. It says here, $15 at GenCon. That is very affordable for what you're going to get. And the quality just looks really nice as well. So I can't wait to get it. It's going to be, I think it's going to be very fun. I really do.
I always like picking up those card game, GenCon card game size games.
Yes.
So you just kind of throw it on the table when you get back from the con and have some food going around and you're playing a game. Because that's what we're doing at the con it's cool to see everything, but we're playing games.
Yeah, because we're there the whole time.
It's all about gaming for a weekend.
Yeah, basically you pick up a game or two, if or you play a demo. If you like it, pick it up, play it, because there's like thousands of tables there at Gen Con.
Yeah.
Pick a table, play it, and just have fun.
Like last year, we picked up kites. And we were just playing that in the hotel for fun, and it was fun time.
It was very fun. We also got Moonrakers as well, which was very fun.
Yep. Yeah, we got several games last year, so kind of neat. All right. Well, another game we wanted to talk about that I was really excited about too is a game called Sky Team. So Sky Team is a 2-player only game designed by Luc Raymond. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, and I apologize. The publisher is a Scorpion Mask. Those are the according to Board Game Geek. In the U.S., it's made by Hachette Board Games. In Sky Team, what you're doing is it's a 2-player only game, and you're basically a pilot and a co-pilot trying to land a plane. And for some reason on this crazy plane, you can't see what each other's doing. I don't know if you're supposed to be super concentrating on what's going on, that you don't talk and tell each other. But
doesn't the pilot and co-pilot sit next to each other?
You would think, but the game's cool concept. So you're placing dice, and you got to work together, but you can't see what the other person's doing. Mm-hmm. And if you tilt the plane too much, or you can overshoot the runway, or you can actually run into other aircraft, you don't win the game. So you're trying to control this plane, the flaps, the access. You're coming in too hot. They even have a little coffee that you can use to help your concentration, that lets you manipulate the value of the dice. It's kind of neat. Cool. The other part, I thought, if that wasn't cool enough, they have different airports in the game. So different airports have different challenges that you're trying to negotiate. So maybe it's got a little more replayability inside of there. Mm-hmm. So I thought that game looked kind of cool.
It does. And it again, just looking at some of the pictures, it's pretty small. It's condensed. It really is.
Yeah.
The board.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Until we see it there. They're supposed to have some early copies at Gen Con. So I hope we can snag a copy of it for sure and play.
Yeah, man, it really does look very fun. I do like the theme as well. I like how you don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. You don't know what I'm doing, but we're supposed to fly this plane together. I think that creates some awesome, intense gameplay. I think it's going to be really fun, and this is going to be perfect for friends or couples because you and me, for example. Okay, I think I know what you're doing. I think I can read your mind. Basically, you think I can read your mind, and then communication would be much stronger.
It's one of those games. Though the more you play, you kind of get a feel for what the other person's going to do, and you get better at it. Which I think
like
is
the
cool.
mind.
Yeah, kind of like that a little bit, but different. But so you have the board in the middle, but then you each have your kind of player board tableau area where you're playing dice, and you can't see what the other player's doing behind that. So
it looks really cool.
I'm excited about that.
It really does look really cool.
So that was Sky Team by Scorpion Maske, Luc Raymond designer. So that's kind of
also 15 minutes.
15-minute playtime is what it says.
15 minutes. which is nothing. I mean, this is how long the episode has been running by now. 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
To play that game. So that could be cool. That could be fun.
That looks really cool. I'm very excited.
So you want to talk about a couple honorable mentions?
Yes.
That
Honorable mentions.
Excited about? Yeah.
Yes.
So one I wanted to throw out there, if it's all right with you, was Fit to Print.
Fit to Print.
Yeah, Fit to Print is a game by Peter McPherson was the designer. It's by Flat Out Games. And the artist, which, artists are real important in board games, but this one I think it's even really important. It's by Ian O'Toole. Okay. Ian O'Toole is the man.
Yes.
With art.
Definitely.
If you're not sure who Ian O'Toole is, he just does gorgeous art for board games. He might be the man guy. I mean, he's the guy who does like the art for On Mars, Kanban, Lisboa. I mean, for all like those Eagle Griffin awesome games. He just does the art for all that stuff. It's just gorgeous. Carnegie, if you've seen it. I mean, he wins all the time for best art in board games.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I'm just gushing because some of his art I would just post up on the wall, and it's just fantastic.
Absolutely.
So back to this game a little bit. In Fit to Print, it's a tile laying game. It kind of reminds me of Galaxy Trucker. So you got all these tiles, and there's a time limit, and you're going out and you're trying to put tiles. So what you're doing is, I should step back. You're making a newspaper.
Yeah.
So you're going out and you're pulling tiles, and these tiles might have stories, like good news stories or bad news stories or advertisements, and you're trying to drop these tiles, and you're trying to play a puzzle where you're fitting them on your paper.
Yeah.
But depending on what you do on your paper is how many points you're going to get. So you might do too many good news stories, so you don't get as much money for that. Or you might be too much bad news, and people don't want to read it. Mm-hmm. But whoever has the least amount of advertisements, no matter how good their other score is, loses. So you got to get advertisements in the paper, but you got to balance it. So it's so cool, but you're doing it all real time. So it just looks really cool. I just wanted to really quickly talk about that. And that just seems like a fun game.
That seems
I just
great.
want to play it so bad.
It really does.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the games you kind of stole mine one there because that's a great game that I'm just so excited. And again, shout out to the artist as well. He did On Mars, beautiful art on Mars.
Yeah, and it's animals.
And it's animals.
So like the editor is like a little, I don't know what the heck that is, but the newspaper reporter is a fox. And all this stuff. So
really
it's
cool.
just kind of got cute art on it. It looks real fun.
It looks really fun. One other game is that I want to do an honorable mention on definitely has to be the Fox Experiment, which is pretty cool. Actually, you told me about it. Why don't you tell the fans about it as well? Because you really intrigued me with the way you spoke it.
Yeah, well, the Fox Experiment is based on a real experiment. The game's published by Panasaurus Games. The designer is Elizabeth Hargrave, and we all know her from Wingspan.
Yep.
So she's a really cool designer. The artist is Joe Shawcross. I'm not sure if he's done other games for it before or not. But basically, this is based on an experiment that happened in the 50s where they were trying to see if they could make domesticated foxes. So foxes you could just have at home as a pet. Mm-hmm. And, they bred these, and as the foxes, with the ones that showed less aggression and more curiosity, they would get them and breed them again. And eventually these things were coming out with floppy ears and spots and curly tails. It was crazy what was coming out of this. So basically in this game, it's a roll and write, and that's what you're doing. You're rolling dice with these traits on it. You're going to pick traits that build your foxes. You're going to get a couple of pot foxes, and then that's your, you kind of score that. But then those are your foxes, or those are the available foxes for the next generation. So now you're picking traits you're picking dice based off the new foxes that were just bred. Mm-hmm. And then you're going again, and then you're breeding. So you end up breeding these foxes, and you go 5 rounds. Yeah. So you're doing 5 generations. So I thought that's kind of cool. But what seems neat is at the end of the game, you can kind of look back and see how your foxes, were progressing as they were being bred. Yeah, throughout there.
Yeah, and then at the end you give it to a family and see.
Well, at the end, whoever has the friendliest fox or the most domesticated fox is the one who wins the game. So you're trying to bring these foxes down. Cool. It looked just cool to me. It looked just cool.
That is really cool. And man, it's just that's cool. And it's a roll and write.
It's supposed to be like a roll and write. Is how it's described. So again, you do these.
Yeah.
You kind of mark it. I think it's like a write in the sense like with like a marker, like a dry erase board.
Yeah.
And you're filling stuff out, and then eventually, you're putting more foxes in, and you can name your foxes, which is cool. And so the new foxes that are born, you'll name them, and it just looked neat to me. I don't know, it just looked kind of cool.
It really does, and it's a cool theme. It's also made by the publisher is Pandasaurus.
Yeah, Pandasaurus has got some cool games there.
That game looks really fun. Honestly, it really does. I really can't wait for it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be beautiful.
Absolutely. Now, ladies and gentlemen, one more game.
This is what we're really running.
Well, we're
not
really
running, but
one game, and I've kind of talked about it a little bit.
Have you already talked about it?
Not so much. I talked about Star Wars Unlimited, but this new card game I've talked about for a while. We'll definitely have to make more parts of it because there's just a lot to talk about it. But
one we're going to be trying to get in line for first.
It's the number one game we want. At least I want. It's the number one most anticipated game that everybody wants at GenCon. This is Disney Lorcana. It's finally time to talk about this game. It's been out. The rules have been out for a couple of months. Cards have been released now. We almost know every
75% of the cards have been spoiled already?
Yeah, we already know almost all of the card. A lot of people are doing their own proxy decks and doing their own awesome combinations. Disney Lorcana is wonderful. If you don't know what Disney Lorcana is, you are forgiven. It is okay. Because it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard.
Basically, Disney Lorcana, it's like a Pokemon game. It's a card game. It's a collectible card game. Mm-hmm. You'll have a deck. I believe your deck has 60 cards in it.
Yep.
And what you're trying to do in this game is you're trying to collect lore points.
Yep.
20 lore points wins. So, like a lot of these games, you're playing... In Lorcana, you're either playing characters. These characters can quest and get lore, or they can attack other characters that are questing.
Yep.
Of course, there's a whole bunch of special words and keywords, But there's also items, so there's items that you can use, from all the Disney movies. Mm-hmm. So there's like a Snarfblat, if you know from Little Mermaid, when she uses the pipe. She uses it to blow. He calls it a Snarfblat. That's in there. And they all have powers that you would expect. Instead of spells, this game has songs that people can sing. So there's songs like the Be Prepared song from The Lion King that Scar sings, Be Prepared, that wipes the board out. Mm-hmm. So it's just all really cool.
All thematic.
What the other thing I liked about it, for us at least, and some people might not like this, is it's not just 1v1. You can play a 3-player game.
Yeah.
Because you're all trying to get lore. You can attack different players. You can play 2v2. I think it plays up to 6?
Up
six
to
players.
6 people.
So, I mean, it's Disney. It's got characters from, there's 4 different kinds of Mickey Mouse. You got regular Mickey Mouse. You got the Tailor Mickey Mouse with the scissors as a sword. Yep. You've got 3 Musketeer Mickey Mouse.
Yep.
I mean, it looks just cool. And it looks awesome.
It really does. And the way you get the lore and how basically it's kind of a game of tug of war because you're trying to stop the other side from questing and getting their lore every turn. But at the same time, if you do that too much, you're not scoring points as well. So sometimes you have to let some things go. Other times you have to stop and just go all out. Or put bodyguards like Hercules and Gaston.
There's just tons.
It's wonderful.
There's other podcasts too, and we'll talk about it for sure. And we don't pretend to be experts in that, but it's just there's so much. It's just exciting, and the art is gorgeous on these cards.
It's original art.
Out. Yeah,
it's original art
it's gorgeous
from various.
And we just can't wait to see that art. Sorry, we had a little bit of visitor. Ethan's sister jumped in here, so anyway, that's Lorcana.
She was also excited about the art from Lorcana.
She was when she saw it. You give her some Little Mermaid cards and she'll go crazy.
Absolutely.
If we get her to play for that.
Absolutely. It's going to be very fun, Lorcana, and they actually limited it to each buyer. So basically, I can buy one of basically everything, but I can't buy multiple booster packs or things like that. You can buy one of everything. You, everybody listening, can buy one of everything.
Until supplies last.
As supplies last. So hopefully they do last enough for us to get there and get in there quick and get it. Oh, it's going to be super fun. I told my dad, I'm like, look, we got to wake up. First day, at least Thursday, we got to wake up early that day and be one of the first to arrive.
Yep, see if we can get something there. It'd be kind of fun. Looking forward to it.
Definitely.
Sure.
And again,
GenCon's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. And again, after we play all of these games that we've talked about, and obviously we'll have some more games that we will talk about, including demos tomorrow or later in the week. We'll definitely be trying out these games and giving you our opinions about them. Like I said before at the start of the Gen Con preview, is basically this will be extended past Gen Con because we will be talking more about these games and things like that. So
we hope to come to you live from Gen Con.
That would be phenomenal.
A couple shows at least. So
that would,
what we've seen that day, what we've played,
yeah,
what we want to do. So
absolutely, even talk to some of the designers as well, ask some of their questions and things that maybe you guys are interested and wanted to ask, as well as ourselves too. So hopefully we can provide with some answers for you all. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to the Gen Con preview part 3. For some games, these are just 4 out of hundreds and hundreds of games that will be coming out at Gen Con. We hope you enjoyed it and look forward to playing these games and many more. We hope also to provide more fun content about Gen Con and hopefully talk about some demo games as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening in, tuning in. I am your host, Ethan.
This is Rick.
And thank you for listening to Roster United. Have a great day.